So happy November 1st, Beau.
Yeah, happy day after.
We're doing a morning show. We had to get here. We had a couple people interviewing for the new producer job. So we had to get here this morning early and vet them.
Not only that, I have a surprise for you.
Oh, boy.
Read that email right there. I don't know if you found someone to sell yet, but I would like to talk. Boom.
Wow.
Boom.
So we've got several people reaching out to us that want to be a part of something special. They see,
the growth is what intrigues them.
Right. So anyway, the interviews went well today, and I expect to probably have a few new people on staff here. And
so if they come into your place of business, treat them well. Buy something.
Buy something like a mug.
Even a mug, for God's sakes.
So did you have trick-or-treaters last night come by?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah? How'd that go?
It went good. Scared the hell out of them.
You sit over here and say, "Yeah, come on in."
Come on in. When they come in, they see me sitting in that chair over there.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah, we went out there at a big shindig in our neighborhood. The weather was crazy last night.
I know.
Yeah, cold front coming in,
All
rain.
In like 15 minutes, it was freezing, it seemed like.
Just like that. So football season is wrapping up. I can't believe it. I was looking at the other day. NFL's at the midway point. In college, they got like a month left before it's bowl season.
Yeah, but you know what this is? In fact, I just referenced Georgia's game against Florida. This is the beginning of the stretch in college football.
Oh, sure.
If you're a contender, this is it. Now, it's must win. When Georgia wins, Georgia's going to win tomorrow. But when Georgia wins on Saturday over Florida, that will be it. That will be it. And then
that will be it.
Alabama in the SEC championship game, and that's their. This is their entree into the playoffs.
Okay, well, I'm going to spoil your whole little parade here, and one or two things are going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
One or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to lose to Florida tomorrow because Georgia's been very underwhelming this year. I don't know what you've seen that could possibly indicate that they're going to flip a switch and all of a sudden be good.
They have been, but it's also circumstantial.
Damn circumstance. I'm telling you, man.
I didn't mean to startle you.
Right.
They have been. And one of these weeks they're going to come alive, coming off the bye week with a lot of work. They'll have more rhythm this week. They'll be getting off the ball together. You'll see a different Georgia squad tomorrow.
I hope you're right.
It's been a crummy schedule for them to actually get better, if you know what I mean.
Boy, this is something. You're coming up with all kinds of excuses right now.
Excuses?
But you're buying into Kirby. You're buying into the process. And you're just, under what you've seen under this regime, you feel that they're going to be prepared to play on Saturday. That's what I'm hearing
My
from you.
entire career, beginning in 1973, has been directed at Georgia and Georgia becoming what Georgia's supposed to be.
Right. And you feel you're close. You feel like you're close.
Well, we're in the right direction.
Okay.
Kirby he's got it. He's doing everything right.
I'm not being rude. I want to share this with all of my people on Facebook. It'll just take a second here. And thanks to all of our folks that have been commenting on the show. We appreciate that.
By the way,
Georgia is not going to win on Saturday. So
wait a minute. First of all,
one of two things.
Nick Brown comments every week. Nick, good to see you. Keep up.
We've got a lot of usual
commenters. About us, will you? I know we do. You
know what you really could do, the folks watching out there, is if you're not too embarrassed, I don't know why you would be, I would want to share it with the people that I'm friends with on Facebook. Yeah, share the show and subscribe to our, what do we have, a YouTube channel that Junji has set up for us? And it's great because my in-laws, they don't Facebook, so they watch the show on YouTube.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So a lot of people that don't Facebook.
Shout out to them?
Sure. Randy, Deb, how are you? Good to see you. So one of my two things, and they're not going to like to hear this, diehard dog fans.
Yeah.
Diehard, like superstitious, like sitting on sides of the room and stuff.
What you're doing to Georgia Nation, the Bulldog Nation right now, is jinxing the entire
No,
nation.
no, because I've been here long enough to understand.
Wait a minute.
They're either can I finish my theory here? They're either going to lose to Florida or they are going to get killed by Auburn. It's one of the two. And so, which would you rather do? Would you rather lose to Florida or would you rather get embarrassed by Auburn?
Neither one.
Well, because if you get embarrassed by Auburn, you're a 2-loss team. You're out of the national picture championship, but you could still play Alabama.
If they were something catastrophic were to happen and they lose to Florida tomorrow, they're out.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But if you lose
I'm telling you, they're not going to lose, and they're not going to lose to Auburn.
Oh, they're going to go into Auburn and beat them. Bo, this team isn't battle tested. Name a big game that the University of Georgia under Kirby Smart has won on the road. Never. Hasn't happened. 0. They get blown out when they go into tough opponents. I'm sorry. LSU, Auburn. All their big wins have either come at home or on a neutral field.
LSU, Auburn are two of the best teams in college football.
But you didn't show up for either game.
No, come on.
You didn't show up.
Oh, come on.
Didn't show up. I mean, I'm being serious.
They didn't get off the bus.
They did not get off. Kirby said, "Come on, dogs!" They turned around and they were still sleeping on the bus with their pillows and their little bulldog sacks.
There's things in sports and athletics and competition
that I can't.
Well, you have anomalies like that. You have things that and for no reason.
Is it an anomaly if it happens?
There was just it's an anomaly if it happens over and over again. All right, light brain. And so, that will work itself out in the wash. Kirby's doing nothing wrong.
I didn't say he was.
No, you inferred he was. I mean, who's coaching the team on the road? Joe Bag Donuts?
No. There's inconsistency there. There are coaching in-game decisions made by Kirby Smart and his staff that are subpar. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you this.
I don't buy into him as much as you do.
This team is a little young. This team is a little raw. And as you
is
said,
exactly why they're going to get killed by Auburn on the road.
They're not getting killed by Auburn. They're not getting killed. Georgia has the best personnel in the country. All right, always, forever and ever and ever. When Vince was winning 7 games, Georgia had the best talent in the country. There's a reason they were winning 7 games.
Andy Jordan says, "Great show, fellas. Time to tank and get Chase Young from Thursday, from the Ohio State University. Of course, the great pass rusher that would be a difference maker that maybe the Falcons could get."
No, why go in that direction? You know what I mean?
But this is last week's show. This is not. Why are we seeing last week's show? Oh, here we are. I'm not very good.
No,
Jerry Farber's watching. Jerry Farber.
Hey, Jerry. I was saying to Jerry yesterday, we've got to give Jerry a call and get him up here.
Oh, he'd come up here in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we've got to get that.
Hope Jerry's doing well. Last I heard he was down in Columbus coming up here on the weekends to do some jobs every now and then.
You got it wrong. He was with Columbus. Jerry's been around a long time now. And he was seasick when he called me.
Right.
He was so sick of Columbus and all his nonsense. He didn't know where they were going.
He was the guy who kind of tipped the Indians off and said, "Hey,
you think
don't trust these guys." Farber's juggling for the natives.
Farber's going for that big long pipe. He caught on with the Indians very quickly.
Jerry, glad you're watching, man. Hope you're well. He's got to be pretty excited about North Carolina. Their football program's got a little bit of fresh breath of fresh air after what's
Max.
been
Good for Mac. He's a good guy.
And they got the number 1 high school player in the country, or one of the top 2 or 3.
What was he?
Defensive end. Out of North Carolina somewhere coming in next year. Yeah.
Well, cool. That means you got it going on.
Right.
Your kids in your state is staying home.
And you got to coach them up. And then that's going to be the question if Georgia loses on Saturday is what's happening in Athens, because you're getting these kids and you don't win the big games. I'm just telling you, Bo. I'm just telling you. From what I've seen this year, the wrong team is favored in this football game.
You shouldn't be here. You really shouldn't be here. You should be on Sports Talk Radio.
I got to go.
Yeah, you should.
I got to go.
You should. Go check in.
Hey, Chris, Nick.
Yeah, hey.
Give me a seat.
Hey, guys. Oh, he's coming. All right? He's right there with you.
Oh, man. No, I'm being serious. So I'm looking at it last night, and I'm trying to figure out what am I missing? How is Georgia favored in this game, much less by 6.5? I just don't see it. My biggest thing is since Florida made the change at quarterback, by the choice they didn't have, they've been a completely different team.
I don't know why it took so long to make that.
Probably pressure from administration. I mean, there's no other reason. Dan Mullen can figure out a quarterback better than anybody.
He's good with the QBs.
Right. So I can't imagine he would put a kid in there unless somebody was telling him others. But anyway, Florida is battle tested. That's my biggest concern with Florida. Right? I mean, they've played
there's no doubt.
LSU, Auburn. Georgia hadn't been in a game like that.
No, Georgia's had a crummy schedule. That's why they're, South Carolina caught them by surprise. You can't really turn it on, turn it off, and hope next week it's going to be on again. You've got to live that. You've got to live as the favorite. You've got to, like you said, win the big games. I just don't see them losing to Florida, though.
Well, Fromm's got to be better.
Fromm will be. See,
you keep looking into the future, telling me things that are going to happen.
But you're telling me stuff from the past that's irrelevant.
I just don't like the way. I don't like the way. You know how you got a feeling about the Falcons?
Got a new girlfriend?
Do you remember a couple years ago how you just with the Falcons? It doesn't matter. It's over. Blah 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 blah. Right. That's kind of how I feel about Georgia football. I'm not being. I really think that they blew their chance, and I think that some of these coaching decisions that they've made have not been the right ones.
See, I think it's just happening.
I think Fields leaving is a black eye on the program. I think that.
Well, how could that be a black eye in the program?
These kids see this. These kids aren't smart enough. They see Justin Fields and what he's doing at Ohio State. They're thinking, damn, they wouldn't let him play at Georgia. Why would I go to Georgia?
Because they got a quarterback who's better at Georgia.
He threw for 40 yards. 40 yards last week.
So what happened to him? Did he get hit by a cab or something?
Maybe somebody stole his Valentine.
All of a sudden he's stupid. All of a sudden he can't make decisions.
They lost 5 wide receivers, but they got talent at that position.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Who's calling the plays this year? They have a new coordinator, right? There seems to be some problems there.
I agree with that. I agree with that, definitely.
But what I've seen from Georgia this year, there is nothing. Not at one time did I go, oh, wow, that unit looks good. Or, oh, wow, man, they could win the game because of this. There's nothing they can hang their hat on. I mean, defensively, yes, so long as Kirby Smart is going to recruit, put those talent, they're going to make plays on defense. But offensively, who are they?
They're a little discombobulated right now.
Well, I don't know.
But, it's you're also hiding a lot of stuff getting to this point. I mean, getting to 2 weeks ago. That was the end of your trial period. Now, you throw the entire book at the game.
Man, you lose at home to South Carolina. I mean, I get it. You turn it over 4 times, but that just should never happen with that talent. It should never happen. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if whatever. It just should never happen. And then South Carolina turns around and loses to Tennessee by 20 points.
So what's your bottom line?
My bottom line is Georgia.
What?
They're going to lose 2 more before this season's over, and they're going to go to a bowl game. And then at the end of the year, there's going to be some serious questions about the direction of the football team. I'm telling you.
All right. See, this gets to the root of our entire problem.
I get it. Kirby's a likable guy. He's physical. He's still a Georgia fraternity. One of those freaking guys with their mugs and their bourbon.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No.
Kirby's got a bow tie.
Kirby's not popular. He wouldn't have a bow tie. He would not have a bow tie in the house.
I'm telling you.
In fact, when he goes to a formal deal, he takes the bow tie off and throws it out the window. They buy a new one every single time. He's got to go get an award. A new bow tie. He's got more bow ties than Ernie Johnson, but he throws them out. And nobody likes Kirby, by the way. Don't give me that popularity. Kirby comes into a room, doesn't even look around, doesn't make eye contact with anybody. If you're asking him a question, he doesn't make eye contact. He could care less, like his mentor, like Saban, about the media. And like they're a pain in the ass. And quite frankly, we are. I sit in those things and I wiggle in my seat at some of the questions.
I think this is the year LSU gets Alabama. I really do. There's just always been that the questions around LSU's offense and could they score enough points, and defensively, they were evenly matched with Alabama, the only team in the country that could ever do it.
Well, Joe Burrow looked as good as any quarterback I've seen over the last couple of
But they're scheming guys open. Like, I don't know if you watched the 49ers last night.
Yeah, that was a great example. Garoppolo throwing people open.
Yeah. I mean, Shanahan's calling the plays. Guys are wide open. That's, to me, is what LSU is doing.
Do you notice the rhythm and the flow?
Oh, for sure, man.
And that's what we lost immediately with the Falcons when he was gone.
And a defensive identity. I mean, San Francisco's defense is legitimate.
We have no identity.
Nothing. We got rid of the wrong guy. We had the best young coach in the NFL on our staff, and nobody could recognize it. They thought it was brotherhood, baby, to the top. And we let him go. And the Nationals win the World Series. And Trae Young sprays his ankle. And the Atlanta United lose in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference playoffs at home in front of Arthur and his family. Have they no respect?
Don't even tell me that.
I'm telling you, it's what happened. 2-1. 2-1. They had to pull the goalie at the end and kind of put some pressure on him down there to kick it around a little bit. Never got close.
No, they didn't get a carom?
No. They didn't get a carom. And then the clock expires at 90 minutes, but you got extra time. And nobody knows how much extra time is except for the official. He's
right there.
We're all on pins and needles here.
Pete Rose is his best friend. And he's keeping the time.
I did. I flipped through. I watched the end up because I forgot it was on. Because the World Series Game 7 was on. And so I switched over and I just caught the very end of it. And I'm trying to understand what's going on. And we were down a goal and we needed to score. And it was literally just total chaos for 5 minutes. And nobody knew how much time was left. And the whistle blew and then it was over.
Trying to follow soccer, it's like trying to understand the internet. There are so many words and so many abbreviations. And so I don't even know. Do we have two teams?
I think the draw to soccer
we have two teams?
For people is you can go and you can get drunk, right?
You can sing.
There's attractive women there. There's a lot of foreigners. And then, but the biggest draw to it, I think, is other than having a good time, it can't be what you're watching. It can't be because nobody can enjoy it.
Of course not.
It can't be.
Of course not.
Is that you're in and out of there on a set time. Except for this extra time, which nobody knows how it is. But my understanding is that can't be more than 5 or 10
The referee is Uber's least favorite guy. He's out there waiting.
Oh, man. But yeah, how much of the World Series Game 7 did you watch? Did you watch the whole thing? Jesus.
My God.
Well, yeah,
My God.
So you weren't watching the soccer after all?
No, I wasn't watching the soccer after all, you dimwit.
Oh, man.
I stopped and watched.
See if we got soccer.
I stopped and watch, and I see they're on the attack.
Right, we're on the attack.
I'll never understand, right? You got a triangle of offensive players, right? Just like this is like on a kind of right quarter, right wing, going forward. You got one ball's kicked inside to this guy here.
Right.
This guy kicks it to this guy right
backwards.
Here. Diagonally backwards. This defender turns and looks, and this guy stays right there instead of going to the net.
Right. We need to
never happens.
We need to.
It never happens.
We need to Americanize soccer. That's what we need.
I agree with that. That's what I did with rugby. American Power Rugby. I refused to play that game.
Right.
And as I said, we've been maybe the most successful club in the country.
I'm surprised we haven't Americanized soccer. Make the field smaller. Maybe take a guy off the field. Make the goals a little bit bigger. Right. Have like 2-point baskets from a certain distance. Right.
Yeah. Now you're talking indoor soccer.
Well, no. And then no offsides. That's the big one. No offsides.
Oh, offsides is ridiculous.
Yeah.
See, but this guy was behind the defenders.
Right.
So when the defender looked at the man at the hypotenuse of the triangle over here, boom.
I get it. It's a bad. It's no point.
But guys, at that level, you don't have to think about that. That should be automatic. Give and go. The whole game should be give and go.
Yeah. I can't figure out what they're trying to do.
But it's not. It's static. In other words, if you're a midfielder, you kick it forward. You don't go and support. You stay back.
What did you think about that call in the World Series in Game 6 with the Turner going down the first baseline?
I thought it was terrible.
I thought it was terrible too, with Holbrook, of course.
Yeah.
It's a judgment.
He's the guy that did the Chipper Jones.
I mean, at some point, you got to think that maybe he gets his jollies doing stuff like that. Right? Because, I mean, both of those calls made absolutely no sense, and they couldn't be reviewed.
And so at such dramatic times.
If they said that they couldn't review that play, right? Major League Baseball said that's not a reviewable play. Why did they go back and look at it? What was the point of going back and looking at it?
Yeah, that's
and stopping the game for 15 minutes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. That should have been addressed.
And then the balls and strikes. The whole thing.
Holbrook was, terrible.
Yeah. So, but I mean, was there any doubt when Scherzer was getting the ball in Game 7 how that was going to end up?
Yeah.
I thought for sure Washington was going to win it all. It just felt like they just had the momentum. And then you've got Suzuki gets a ring, right? Mm-hmm. That big home run back, I think it's Game 1. So Suzuki gets a ring. Johnny Venters, I didn't even realize he was still on but he was on the 40-man. Venters gets a ring. Matt Adams, former Brave, gets a ring. And then also Anibal Sanchez.
Mm-hmm. How do you compare them to us, do you think? Putting them in perspective as world champions now and us. We're here, obviously we're younger. But, I like our upside as much as that.
We've got the third best odds of winning the World Series according to Vegas next year. They know we're going to go out and spend some money. But, I was reading Mark Bowman's piece, MLB, and I like him. He's my favorite Braves writer for what that's worth. And Bowman said, everything is going to depend on what they do with Donaldson. Because Donaldson's going to want 3 years. Mm-hmm. Braves are probably going to offer him 2. Mm-hmm. And, how hard up is he on 3? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the biggest question. Because, he's 33 years old. The question would be, before the season, does he belong in the American League? But shit, he almost won the Gold Glove. Mm-hmm. Could still win the Gold Glove in the National League. Was phenomenal at third base. Do you give him 3 years, $75 million?
I can't.
That's too much.
I can't.
That's what he's going to want.
I can't. I'll tell you who I'll give Washington's third baseman whatever he wants.
Yeah, but they're not going to let him go.
No.
That's part of the reason why.
Boy, he's something, huh?
Dude, they got him and Strasburg are free agents. And Boris has got both of them. And Garrett Cole. Cole is.
You know what? They've got to sign those 3 guys. They've got to. That's their advantage.
Yeah. But to answer your question is how they're different. Their veterans were just huge, man. Their veterans stepped up. Their guys who they relied on all season stepped up for them in the postseason. And
we don't really have a go-to guy when you think about that in terms of baseball. In fact, we have a lot of guys who come through in the clutch.
Right.
But
that's always been our deal, man. Sheffield, Galarraga, Chipper. All these guys who just had monster years in the playoffs did nothing. It's always been the case. The one guy who didn't was Justice, and then we traded him.
That was Schuholz.
Right.
That was Schuholz. And
Bobby didn't like. Bobby would have to know.
Bobby didn't like. Oh yeah, Bobby didn't like Justice either.
So then Bobby.
You know
Bobby.
why? You know why?
Why?
The media liked Justice.
Yeah.
And Justice would start pontificating.
He was my favorite player.
You know what?
He was my
People
favorite
don't
player.
understand this. A great guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was a great guy.
Halle Berry, hello? You think she's going to hang with some schmuck?
Come on.
Come on. I remember they used to have a condo or townhouse or whatever right on the corner of Peachtree and West Paces. And we lived back in Cross Creek, which is back there at Moore's Mill. Mm-hmm. But to get into Buckhead, you'd have to come down West Paces or West Wesley. And it was the brick ones right there on the corner. And you would always see him or her out there walking this little damn dog. Always. And they're like the most famous people in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. They would just be out walking their dog.
Well, get a chance to talk with the dog around?
No, it was Halle Berry. Here I am. I'm in, 4th, 5th grade going to school. How many kids saw Halle Berry on their way to school? Not many. Not many. Thank you, Halle. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. I won't say it. I refuse to say it.
Oh, man. Well, I appreciate that.
Hey, you know what? Did we talk the other day about Kevin Herter? Something's going on in his head. What's his? In other words,
It's the same thing as last year.
He didn't grow mentally. You know, he didn't grow in the mental toughness category.
There's a disconnect.
He's not shooting. He didn't pick up where he left off last year. It's almost like he's a rookie all over again. He seems awkward. He seems anxious. He seems to be rushing shots. He's just not comfortable out there.
He can't finish at the basket either. You know, the one thing that he does well is this little floater / turnaround from about 12 feet. That's a hard shot. And he hits that damn thing at about 75%. So if he gets down in there, but he doesn't get down there enough.
No.
You know, I just...
And see, that was the emphasis in the offseason with him, was him taking it off the dribble. And getting fouled more because he's excellent at free throw line. You want guys who can shoot it to get fouled.
I wonder if he's trying to facilitate too much. Because the one thing about him, his other strength, other than that floater, is he can pass with either hand, with strength. Meaning if there's a passing lane like Trey, many, I mean, there's probably 5% of the guys in the league that can do that. That's a tremendous asset. But I wonder if he's trying to do that a little too much because he's got to be aggressive, especially with Trey hurt.
I don't say that. I just see him.
He's hard to figure out.
I just see him being awkward offensively. And
He's
I
hard to
him
figure
to be smooth, and you'd be able to see and exactly calculate how far he came. He hasn't come anywhere yet.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, you know, this year, granted, the playoffs are their goal, right? They can come out and say it or not, but I think they want to make the playoffs. And I think these first couple of games, I know, whatever. I feel like you keep talking about that. You need to get playoff games.
Well, stop saying that. What? Stop saying that. If you don't want me to say that, stop saying.
But I'm saying that that's their goal
to make the play. I don't think so.
But what
why
I'm
do you
saying,
want to go in the playoffs?
Don't say you.
Why do you want to go and languish in the playoffs and get eliminated in an early round
when you can get a lottery?
When you could get a lottery and control the playoffs in one more year.
Yeah,
you get in there, you get bounced right now. You may not get. Your progression may not be as
that's fine. Yeah, listen, either way, it doesn't really matter to me. You've got $75 million coming off the books. $75 million. Now, granted, there's not a lot of big free agents, but you can make trades. I mean, there's tons of stuff that you can do there. So I think everything at this point is developing these young guys, and that's why you see Reddish out there 30 minutes a night, who's been terrible. And I get it. He was hurt. He didn't play and whatever. They started him at point guard last night.
I saw it.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's been tough for him. But, Kobe, when he first came in the league, was terrible.
Well, they say that Reddish was, probably the steal of the draft.
That's what everybody's saying.
And people that saw him at Duke and people that see his game, unfortunately, we haven't been able to see it yet.
I haven't seen defensively. Defensively, yeah. I mean, he looks the part. He's a big kid. But, I think you're just going to see these guys continue to play the young guys, and they're just going to try to develop them. I mean, and get them. One thing that you can't question, though, is they compete. They freaking compete, man.
Lloyd Pierce is as good as it gets, I think.
Yeah. And that's important to build. And I think as the season goes, it's going to build momentum, and these other players around the league are going to take notice. They see the crowds in Atlanta. They see how they're into them. One thing I looked at the other night, I was just looking at Hawks tickets, and they're getting ready to go on a West Coast road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Like Denver, it was like 6 or 7 games. And I was looking at the ticket prices in each market, and it says the lowest ticket available. Mm-hmm. Tickets in Denver, $12, $18, whatever. And then they had the Hawks coming back home, and the cheapest tickets to get in Atlanta were almost double of what they were on their road trip. Mm-hmm. That's pretty indicative of what's going on here. Mm-hmm. People want to see this team play.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, it's exciting, and you go down there, and you've got a great atmosphere.
Yeah,
and it's great. It's great that our teams are moving forward. When for so many years we were just stagnant, it wouldn't make any difference from one year to the next.
That's until Georgia loses on Saturday.
Georgia's not going to lose on Saturday. In fact, if Georgia loses on Saturday,
you kiss my honey in the Macy's Day window.
Yeah, we'll.
What does that mean? You've been saying that as long as I've known you. What the hell does that mean?
Well, You go to Macy's window.
Okay,
Right.
first of all,
Macy's
assume
a-
that there's still
Macy's-
shopping malls. All right,
No, not shopping, but Macy's. Macy's freestanding. Macy's was a freestanding building.
I need a
in
coat.
downtown
I need a
L.A.
I'm in Manhattan. I'm cold. I need a coat. So I go to
Right.
Macy's.
Go to Macy's.
I
all right?
walk by. There's a
You
window.
walk by. No, there's many windows. You go inside, and you see the window dresser. Just going through this little porthole to get to the windows where people are watching him. Fix the dummy's bra or something.
Okay.
So you're out there.
So that's where the phrase "window dressing" comes from.
Yeah,
because they're out there just buttoning up, making everything perfect. Okay, go ahead. I'm with you now. I feel like I'm in a time machine.
You go out there, and you go in one of those windows and say, "Excuse me, Mr. Dresser," who, by the way, when he sees what you're going to do, he's not going to have any problem with it whatsoever. So you drop trowel,
Right.
and then I would come in and kiss your hanky, except for the fact that you're going to be there with your drawers down around your ankles.
So an embarrassing situation.
An embarrassing situation, and I don't appear.
Okay, so you're really putting it out there. If that's the case, like you would rather. That's like the worst thing you could possibly do.
Let me tell you.
That's
something.
how confident.
I'd
you are.
rather shower at Penn State than root against Georgia tomorrow.
Oh man! All right, well I got to go. Really enjoyed it. We got to do these early shows more often. I'm sure that.
You think?
No,
No.
I got a busy day. I got things to do. I got to.
We had Junji's intern came in today. Thank you. You were wonderful.
Yeah. Some of our best work. Yeah, Junji Jr.
Junji Jr.
If that's not a mouthful.
How about the first day at work doesn't show up? And that's, we don't want her to find that out. The saleswoman.
We should have this meeting off the air.
True.
Yeah.
See everybody. Oscar de la Renta.
And go Dogs.